and welcome to my family's backyard oasis, where today we are going to talk about how cloth diapering is sustainable and how it holds up over time. My first child started when she was about a month old, month and a half, with cloth diapers, and she went until 7 months or 8 months when she started eating solid foods, and that's when we stopped cloth diapering because the poops were getting really gross. I didn't want to invest in the whole toilet situation where you can get one of those bidet things that sprays it off. I didn't want to deal with that and deal with the smell. So we switched to disposables then, and then potty trained her early so that way we could get rid of disposables completely. So with my second child, I'm now cloth diapering him again, doing some disposables, some cloth diapering, so it's a mixed and matched batch. But I'm here to talk about Lunapaca cloth covers specifically and how they've held up throughout it all. So with the first Lunapaca video cover review that I did, here is the link. I did kind of a pros and cons. I didn't really have a ton of cons, but as I've had this for a while with different stages of kids, I have some more things to say about it. So let's do the pros first, because the pros are always fun. So one pro is that it still smells good. It smells neutral. It doesn't smell stinky or used like some clothes do after some time. This smells good, but it doesn't smell like stinky. So that's good. Another pro is that it's soft. So in the last video I did about this, I said that it wasn't super soft, and she recommended I use a different soap, and so, or their soap that they give along with the cover, and so I did try that, and it is soft. So it is baby alpaca wool, which is super soft, and it has stayed that way. It hasn't become hard or so soft where it comes apart. So another thing is the wool has not come out so that it's not falling apart in holes. It's double thick, and I have no holes in this at all, or rips or tears. There's a little bit of fuzz, and that fuzz is pretty normal for animal wool, right? So the cons are the snaps. So you have to be careful not to pinch the baby's skin, which that could be more of a my problem, right? To not pinch the skin. But when she was 8 months, and so she's like thrashing around on the table, and I'm trying to snap this on her right before she gets up and falls off or something, and so I snapped her skin in between the snaps. So that is a thing that can happen. Obviously not when they're babies, they just lay there and you can do it easily, but when she's an 8-month-old and wants to get up and I'm trying to snap this in super quick, then you can get their skin. So just be aware of that. A con if you're moving from disposable diapers to cloth diapers and back and forth is that the cloth diapers are a lot chunkier than the disposable, and so they're going to need a bigger crotch gusset area here, and so I tend to use pretty big, like a size up clothes for my baby when I'm using the cloth diaper versus the disposable. His bum is so small in those that he can easily fit the newborn size still, whereas this is a 0 to 3 months. So just depends on what you're doing. If you're doing all cloth, that's great. If you're doing all disposable, or if you're switching between the two, you just need to be aware that they're also going to have to switch this size up for when he's using cloth. And this is nice and stretchy. Some materials aren't as stretchy, I've noticed, in some baby clothes, but since it's nice and stretchy, it stretches well over the cloth diaper. A con with the inserts that go into the cover is Lunapaca came with these organic cotton cloths, which I love organic cotton. I think it was super great that they did that. They didn't dye it bleach white or anything. They're super eco-friendly and sustainable. However, they were very thin, or they got thinner over time. That's because I did some air dry, but in the winter months I just put them in the dryer and they became thinner and thinner. That makes it hard for the, like, obviously if they pee once, it's okay. If they pee twice, that can be a little tricky because then the cover got wet as well, and then I had to air dry the cover and I had to put her in a disposable because I only had one cover. So just be aware of that. I had the prefolds as well, and the prefolds worked great because they were thicker, but they weren't organic cotton, and the prefolds weren't from Lunapaca. I had a little bit of trouble with that. They have the hemp inserts. I got 2 of those in the Triapaca bundle, and that worked out great for nights, but there's only 2 of them, so you'd have to wash pretty regularly if you were going to use those with the Lunapaca cloths. So if you don't have these pre-folded from the Lunapaca set, you'll end up having to fold it, and while you're folding it, they can pee on themselves, and it's really unfortunate. So it takes a lot longer. So I would fold these before you do anything else once they come right out of the dryer or air dry. Another con is that if you don't do the correct snap size for the Lunapaca covers, that the elastic will eat into their thighs and cause a red mark when you take it off. I also want to address the con of money, because that can be a concern for some people of how much it is for these covers, right? Because obviously they will last a super long time, and they're high quality. But however, there is the cost, the upfront cost that you have to pay all at once versus disposable. You get $500 over time, right? These aren't $500, but I do want to say I just got the Triapaca bundle, and I just had the one cover, and that worked because I did disposables as well. And if I did the pre-folds, the pee would go on the pre-fold and not the cover, so I could reuse the cover again and again and again, unless it got poop on it, which has happened. Also, if you have had a blowout in the past in a cloth diaper, give a dislike, because those are not fun to deal with on the sides, and trying to wash this cover with the poop on it takes a little bit of a time to get it out, and it's just gross, and it's in the elastic and the alpaca, and it's not pretty. Versus disposable, you can just take it out. So give a dislike if you've had a blowout in one of these. I will say disposables, because they're plastic, it just goes up the back super easily and smoothly, and then you have the big blowout in the back. With these, because it's elastic, it covers it in the pre-fold, and it all keeps it pretty contained, but still can get on the rims of the back and the legs especially, and that's not fun. So there is an alternative to getting Lunapaca covers. You can get the plastic covers with the already cotton inside it. I'm not a big fan of those because I just like the natural fibers, so I did decide to make my own alpaca, baby alpaca wool, because that's softer, cover. And I use buttons here instead of snaps, just for the ease of things, because this is crocheted, so it's pretty holey anyway. It's definitely not a tight weave like the Lunapaca. It's a little bit of a tight weave because I used a small crochet hook, but definitely not as tight as the other one. So this worked out great. It's super soft. I got the yarn from Riverside Fabrics on sale, and it came to about $12, and I almost used the whole skein. So I used this on my baby this time around, not with my first because I didn't have it, but with my second I used it because it was super soft in the early days, and then I changed to the Lunapaca because it's a bit stiffer for when he was about 6 weeks. So I used this in the early days, and I actually just pulled it on like a pull-up. I didn't even worry about the buttons, but obviously I could use the buttons to get it tighter or looser, and I really liked it. So this is a cost-effective way if you don't want to try the Lunapaca but you still want the baby alpaca wool. Crochet your own. I just used actually the cover to kind of like make a rectangle, a little bit bigger and then a little bit smaller for the front, and then added these squares on the side and the buttons, and called it good. Super easy. So I would use even one of your disposable diapers and just follow that shape and add the squares on, and you have your own diaper cover. Hi guys, so I'm just about to put the wet bag into the laundry, so I thought I'd show you kind of like what I use. In the last video I did not have a wet bag and I dearly needed it once I moved into this house, and so I got the Kinga Care wet bag. Looks like this, and I just put everything in it and zip it up so that way it keeps the smell in. And there's a little tab so you can hang it on the wall, which is really nice. And then you can also like hang it in the car if you are traveling with a cloth diaper. I travel with disposable diapers, so I did not use this in the car, but it's great if you want to hang on the seats because you have this little snap here that snaps open. Anyway, it does snap open. It's just really hard for me to open it. And so it can go on the back of the seats. So I'm gonna go put this in the laundry. I do a high spin and pretty hot water to make sure all the poop comes off. And if it doesn't, you hang it outside to sunbathe and get all that stain out. So these have been out here about 5 hours. These Lunapaca cloths are very thin, so they dry super easily, whereas the prefolds are thick, so they are still wet. So I would dry these extra or leave them out longer. And I also put the wet bag out here just to dry as well, and it is still wet as well. So I would probably dry this in the prefolds, whereas these I can just fold up and put them away now. Also, I just want to document that these cloths can still have poop on them. Show poop even after being washed. This is already washed and it doesn't look pretty, but I'm going to put it out in the sun now. It is 86 degrees currently and it will be 89 degrees at the peak of the day, and I will let you know what it looks like after it's been in the sun, because the sun actually takes out poop stains. Isn't that cool? It's like heals it. So you'll see what happens in a little bit. So it's been just under 2 hours and already it's a lot better. So the sun is about gone from the backyard area, so I'm going to be done for today, but I could wash this again and it could come out even better, or I could just put in the sun again tomorrow and have it be totally gone. So you can see like the brown area where it started to fade. So the stain is going away. Thank you so much for watching today. If you have used cloth diapers before, please comment below what brand you used, if you like them, what was the pros and cons for you, so that way others can join the conversation and have some helpful tips down below, because I'm not the only one. There's lots of others who have tried this as well. So thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Go check out my first Lunapaca video I made.